Hi, it's Josh from BrightTALK. I'm here at Infosecurity Europe with Barney. Lee's the head of cybersecurity at M&S. Do you want to maybe give us a bit of an introduction of what you're doing at Infosecurity?
So mainly I'm here to network and look for new people that I can recruit into the business.
Great. And how does working at M&S, doing the security there, differ to your previous roles in other industries?
They're very different approaches to cybersecurity. Well, I mean, it used to be information security, but cybersecurity these days. And it comes primarily from the difference in threat actors, or if you want to say, the people who would otherwise do you harm to your business. So if you look at retail, we're faced with the traditional criminal gangs. They just want to smash and grab things. And once they smash and grab things, they may then want to use those for other purposes. They may sell it on elsewhere. Whereas if you look in the defence sector or the public sector, then you've got potentially state-sponsored foreign terrorist organisations, and they'll come through the roof like ninjas. They'll come upside down, Minority Report kind of things, and they'll steal things, and they'll go to great lengths to extract information. We don't necessarily have the same threats against us, so the choices we make in retail are very different.
And how do you think? I mean, there's a lot of talk at the moment about the Brexit. How do you think cybersecurity in the UK is going to be affected by that? Do you think it's going to have a big difference if we do leave the EU?
From my professional perspective, I see the GDPR as an enabler for security. It will absolutely help us sell our business case back to the business and say this is why you need to protect security. But it does start within the paradigm that customer data is sacrosanct and is the most important thing in the world. It is to M&S, we care very much about it. We don't need GDPR to tell us we need to protect our customer data. We're doing it already, and we're investing quite heavily already. So will it affect us? I'm not sure it will make a massive difference to us because we're already doing really good things about customer data security. But it will affect other companies? Almost certainly, because the pressure will be taken off of those businesses to protect customer data, purely from a regulatory perspective, not necessarily from a risk perspective.
There's going to be some heavy fines handed out if people are breached when the GDPR comes in. Who do you think are the most likely culprits for these big data breaches? Do you think it's cyber terrorism, lone wolves?
I think there's a distinction between a breach in terms of somebody's broken in to steal your data, and then a breach from a regulatory perspective. So somebody breaking in to steal your data, it really depends who wants to get access to your data, obviously, because you have to have a need and then an ability to do something with that. And although some criminal gangs are looking for personally identifiable data, it tends not to be used as widely as, say, credit card information. When you join the two together, the credit card information becomes much more valuable because you can use it for many other things. And that's where there's a definite push from the attackers to try and get to that data. The biggest risk to business is a GDPR risk, and that's being found to be deficient in terms of not providing the latest technology to protect customer data, and then being fined by the ICO, because like you say, it's quite a significant fine. 4% of your global turnover is huge for most businesses. In terms of who will be most likely targeted, I suspect from an Information Commissioner's perspective, and I wouldn't want to speak on their behalf, it's up to them, I suspect their first people will be the people that are obviously doing things bad with customer data and are misusing customer data. It doesn't necessarily mean putting them at risk from a cyber security attack, but perhaps people who are using data for cold calling or who are sharing it between companies. So, for example, at Infosec, we get our badges scanned. That's a definite indication that you're happy to have your personally identifiable data shared with that organisation. If that company was to then sell that data without permission, that may not be acceptable in the eyes of the ICO. So the organisation like that, I think, will be targeted first, and then after that, once that area has been secured, I think then we'll start to look at the more at risk from a cyber security perspective organisations.
Do you have a few pieces of advice you'd give to, say, a boardroom of C-level execs to how they can make their business better protected?
Do something now. Don't wait for 2018. Yes, the law technically comes into effect in 2018, but from a board perspective, consider all the steps that need to happen leading up to that decision to do something. If the answer is technology, you need encryption or you need new drives to secure your systems, then it's probably going to take 2 years. A year to go through the design and review process, then get the budget signed off, and even though you're a board member, the people that report to you will still need to go through that budget process. And once they've then signed that off, they then need to implement that technology. So 2 years really isn't very much time.
So are there any aspects of the infosecurity world that you're really looking forward to for the next couple of years?
I am. I'm looking forward to the new generation of people coming into cybersecurity. So the people that are currently at school, secondary school right now, that are going into university or they're going into college and they're going to come into our industry, they bring a very different perspective to the world that we have already. They approach securing their own personal data very differently. They're going to want to do things and approach things in such a different way. It's going to give us real challenges to be able to support them, to enable them to be creative and to think, but also to maintain the things that we care about and secure those things. So yeah, I'm really excited about the people that are coming into the industry, and I hope they join me at M&S.
I agree. I think the tech natives, when they do come through, will kind of bring a whole new evolution to the cybersecurity world.
Absolutely, yeah. It's going to change business completely. You think we're looking at how organisations can do more working from home. So not just you're working from home where you do a day a week, but actually how can organisations break apart the traditional model of staying in a corporate head office and go and look at saying stay at home permanently, and how do you maintain the organisational sense of being a company? So all of those bring great challenges to organisations, but even better opportunities to think outside the box about how they may traditionally approach a problem, how they may crowdsource a solution to a problem, and in security, as is always the case, we've got to help secure that path.
An optimistic world then for cybersecurity. Lee, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
We're at Infosecurity all week, so tune into BrightTALK for more thought leadership content.